So typical stereo receiver from end of 80s, I think it is end of 80s. Again, I don't know much information about it because it looks like it's some kind of not really popular model. It consists of a FM AM receiver and amplifier, audio amplifier. So this particular guy is 330 watts per channel. So it's nothing to write home about, but it's not too bad. I think it's not too bad. It actually drives big speakers. I have 100-watt speakers quite well. So let's try to power it up before we take it apart. Okay, so we have a nice button here, and for some reason it's super dim. And those lights, maybe light bulb is Gonski here. Yeah, looks like it is. I don't know what those switches really mean. Loudness, mono, stereo. Let's take a look what we have on the back. But first, I want to mention that sides and top of this guy are wood veneer. It's not, hardwood or anything like that. It's just wood veneer. So let's take a look on the back. So this is how back looks like. First of all, we have a mains wire over here, 200 watts, and it has two outlets, which is kind of cool because you can power some other devices from it. It has fuse, and then it has two groups of speakers, group A and group B. Then we have inputs. Oh, an actual input and output. So I guess this is what the tape monitor means. Then there is auxiliary, and then there is a phono. And mic, I don't know what that really meant. Then we have an antenna connectors. So you are able to connect your external antenna, and you still have this internal ferrite, I think ferrite antenna, which is right here. Do we have grounding? We have grounding over here, but I think, oh no, we have actually grounding right here. So you can actually ground this thing because it does not have ground wire over here. Serial number, this guy is 7476B. So it's pretty early model, and this is Concord CR-250. So over here it says this is Concord Division, Benjamin Electronic Sound Company, Farmingdale, New York, 11735. I guess this is the US zip code. Yeah, I need to dig up the history of Benjamin Electronic Sound Company, but from what I already kind of dug up on my own, it seems like it was done by some bigger companies for this Concord division of Benjamin Electronic Sound Company. Okay, so and it is 8 ohm speakers per channel only, so it's all 8 ohm device. So this is all we have. As you see, sides, top and bottom is wooden, and this back is metal, which is good because sometimes I saw this is wooden as well, and I hate it. So metal is awesome in this case. It has vent over here, and it has vent on the back. So I have no idea how to disassemble this device. It looks like from the back panel, but not sure yet. So let's dig it up together. So here's our wide-angle bench view of the top of the unit. So as you see, it's the grill I mentioned, but looks like there is nothing on top except dust. So we have to turn it upside down. It's not that heavy, but it's quite noticeably heavy. Alright, so here's the bottom of it. So I understand I won't have to touch those feet, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. Again, some vent holes. Okay, and probably it's better to disconnect it from the outlet. Alright, just to make sure it's not gonna, do some more damage or more bad than good. So I'm not sure if this is the right way of disassemble this device, but I have to start somewhere, so we're gonna start unscrewing those screws. Again, I'm not really sure what's supposed to happen. Is it just gonna slide out or what? Because this is totally, looks like this thing is just a solid box. Maybe I would have to like pull the fronts of the of every knob. So it looks like these guys are all the same. The screws. And the last one here. This guy was actually the longest. No, they are not the same. Yes, they are easily pulling out, so I have to pull these guys. And I still have to clean them up, and no matter what. Yeah, here we are. Okay, now front panel, or actually everything is sliding out. Here we are. Well, we are getting, let's say, mooned, because all I see is just the back of it. But I'm just gonna pull it. And just remove this veneer box. I'm not really sure if it's veneer or not, but it's still looking good. It's in good nick. So I'll try not to damage it. And we're gonna turn this little guy. Just like that. Okay. What the hell is this? It's a bit dusty inside, I must say. It's a bit dusty. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit. So, yeah, it's actually well done. I surprised. Those are 50 volt capacitors. What I'm surprised that this all individual component is first of all, it placed on own PCB, but more to it, it's nicely spaced. So obviously there is a whole bunch of wires going in between, but I really like how it's done. There is a chassis and each individual PCB nicely mounted, and it's really nicely spaced apart. So this variable capacitor over here is for tuning AM or FM channel. Not sure what is this weird ass contraption over here. It's no idea. It's like a little wire and wire inside of it. All those wires right in here, it's a tuning wires which actually go over, and you know, when you rotate this guy, they also rotate capacitor, variable capacitor here, and also the needle which shows the... Oh, I understand now. This is done for this wire thingy to be movable, and also in the same time have some sort of grounding. Oh no, it's actually for direction. Yeah, so it keeps this specifically directed. Wow, that's an interesting solution. It's a very interesting solution. Yeah, so it's not gonna like drag all over those components, it just hangs over it. That's well done. So let's talk about componentry here. So first of all, what I see, I don't have schematic of this guy. I don't think I have a service manual, but from the first glimpse, this is the power part. Okay, so this is power supply essentially. This is probably really hard to tell. Why? Because there are two beefy capacitors with typical indication of the output stage, but there is, I think, also here there is an input stage of the maybe I'm actually wrong. No, this is highly likely two left and right of of output stage to which drives those big transistors. Yeah, it is. So those wires, they go straight to those big transistors, which are, I don't really see, what are they? They are ED 260, and I don't see the brand. There are 4 of them, 2 for each channel. It's not too bad. So there are some potentiometers over here. Yeah, this is probably to tweak some frequency characteristics. Yeah, but not sure really how. Yeah, I don't have service manual, so I can't tell much of it about it. So this seems like a, yeah, it actually says AM/FM and MPX boards. So potentially MPX, those FM switches over here, and what was else there? High filter and low filter was actually related to MPX filter, potentially. So we even have 2 ICs. One of them is Sanyo, another is NAC or NAC, which is pretty cool. Deep mounted, and this potentiometer is kind of look weird, very crooked. Not sure where is the phono preamp part. Potentially this is it. They are using TK capacitors, which looks like they are in really good shape. I will try to give them a ring with the LCR meter, just to make sure they are not gonski or not going anywhere, but they look visually, they're not blown or busted. So those TK capacitors, usually they serve. So output stage capacitor are Unicorn. Again, I have no idea, never seen Unicorn before, so which is kind of cool to learn something new. Well, yeah, but TK, I know it's good brand, and it looks like they are in a good shape after like almost 30 years. So let me take a look. What other, do we have anything on the bottom? No, not much going on. So let's talk about bottom a bit later. Looks like we have a single voltage capacitor, because, sorry, not capacitor, power supply. I think, maybe I'm mistaken, but looks like, yeah, we have only one. We have fuse. For some reason there is another little fuse over here. I'm gonna turn it upside down. Okay. Oh, not only one. So there are, wow, that's crazy. If you, I know, really hard to see. Over here there is a fuse, but it's not just one. There's 2 fuses wrapped into PVC wrappers, and it says replace with the same type fuse. 1.5 amps, 125 volt. But it's kind of funny because there is another fuse right here, so I just can't wrap my mind what the heck is going on. Why do you need more fuses specifically for, not sure where they're coming from. Oh, it's, yeah, so there is a on primary side of the transformer fuse, and on secondary, as far as I understand, there is another fuse, because those blue wires, they actually go to fuses. It's funny thing, this board over here kind of buckled, so it's interesting to see that. There is a bit of a, I don't know what the heck is this going on here. There's a like a wire going through this, connected to this ground point, and it's just like, just done willy-nilly. Everything is hand soldered. You can see how kind of soldering job is not the best one here. Look at this jumper, it's hilarious. Like it's actually jumper, it jumps over PCB, just hangs over. All those outputs over here, over here, they go right here to those switches, and like here's the, oh my god, it's impossible to turn without the knob. So this switch which commutates outputs to inputs, It's quite beefy one, so that needs some good and thorough cleaning. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has 5 switching surfaces, and these switches have to be cleaned as well. This one even grinding. It's called loudness on off. I don't know, it's kind of overdrive, overclock, I don't know. There's a little bodge, something over here, so like a grounding point, resistor, electrolytic capacitor, just right hanging straight on the small PCB right here. Beefy capacitor for the power supply. Again, it's just, I think it's on output stage. Yeah, it's on output because we have red and black, which is highly likely meaning positive and negative. And it's kind of confusing that they used the same color of wires for the mains, like this is the line power here, and as well they use it for something else. So it's just hell of a confusing, because here they actually power switch, which turns this thing on and off, okay, and over here just some kind of weird voltage, right? So it's exactly the same wire. So there is also more, let me move it here. There is also more switches right here, so the volume knob clearly has to be cleaned because it crackles a lot. All this, the balance and this switchy stuff, I don't know, I'm gonna clean up pretty much everything. Just curious, how can I access it somehow without like removing all these boards? Let me try to unscrew right here. It would be very nice to find the service manual, but I don't need to repair it because this guy works. Luckily it works fine. Just crackles, and I think some of the switches actually don't even work properly because they are oxidized. Okay, so probably 2 more on this side. I'm lazy to swap it. Also gonna clean up everything, and faceplate and switches and knobs, just to have it in good shape. So this front panel now can come off, and also so the front panel is coming off and I can clean it up. As you see, it's dirty. Okay, what do we have here? Oh, interesting that for that many years this foam did not disintegrate it like in any other equipment that I have. Just nicely put it on the side. So, and also give me a chance to look closer at those switches, which are actually quite funky looking switches. Yeah, there is a little kind of fabric here, just protecting them from, I guess, dust, and which is good because there is a lot of dust on those. So I won't be able to reach potentiometers right here because looks like they are right behind. They are screwed to this metal plate. So on the back side, yeah, so essentially I need to pull this board somehow, or try to clean up those switches on. Yeah, I have to turn it upside down. Somehow from this side, which won't be easy because we have all these jaws like interfering. So yeah, have to think about it. And all switches to potentiometers have to be cleaned up. Some of them are double, some of them, like balance for example, it's a single potentiometer, and the volume, treble and bass, they are doubles. There is also the switches, which actually switches switching the input and output. So that's they are really heavy duty switches. So I will try to look up the schematic to understand what's really going on here. So like, for example, it's another solution of using like a spring wire over here, just to, you know, to keep this wire as short as possible, at the same time not to lean or anything. I'm not sure why that was so important, especially for this guy. Not much really going on. I'll try to photograph each individual component here, and just to allow people to see what this thing would look like. I'll also try to look up a service manual, because I would like to understand more and have it in case I would need repairing this thing. But so far so good. I have to just clean it up and at the same time show you what's inside. So guys, now after we thoroughly clean up all this, let's give it a shot, because I also decided to clean up those, you know, let me push it closer, those potentiometers over here, you know, and for the first one was actually quite crackling, is this volume one. Okay, so what you're gonna do, you're gonna connect this to the channel A, and my speaker is in that room. I actually opened the door, and now I can try. Damn it, it's still crackling. What is going on here? Actually, if you turn it slowly, it's not. Oh, it doesn't do it anymore. Oh no. It actually does it when you spin it quite fast. Well, I don't know. I already cleaned it up like 5 times. If it's gonna be like that, I'm not sure if I want to continue, because I already spent too much time on this thing. And if you spin it slow, it's fine. So, well, whatever. Let's deem it repaired, because I'm tired cleaning up this thing several times already. I already cleaned up like all insides and outsides, and even this antenna, you know, I clean up all that stuff. Like in the back here, it's nice and clean. Also, what I discovered, let me find it, here is schematic. Okay, so I have schematic diagram of this little guy. Unfortunately, let me zoom in slightly, not sure if it's gonna help. Unfortunately, it's super tiny, but at least we're gonna see what we have. Okay, so this is our, how do you call it? What is the name of this thing? Preamp. So this is preamp, and all inputs which are connected right here on the back going to this preamp. And I think this is the preamp, right? Am I mistaken or not? Yes. Let me double check it. I'm just checking the number of, yeah, it's kind of funny. It says preamp over here, but doesn't say the board like specific ID. But here there is a board ID, and it's P2000098, and nowhere else it says preamp. So yeah, it's kind of funny. I hope this is the schematic from the right one. I hope it is. Yeah, well, for example, this is FM board. This is, and looks like, judging by, this is the schematic of FM board. It has 2 ICs. And one of them is LA330D01, and yes, here we are, Sanyo A3301. So that's the correct one. So another one is IC Micro PC 27C. micro PC27C from NAC. So yeah, that's correct, and that is MFM and MPX board. So there is also this board, which is over here. So we see this variable capacitor and all necessary jazz for the tuning. So that's correct. So what the heck is this little board here? Let me figure it out. It has 3 capacitors and 1, 2, 3, 4 transistors. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is the preamp board. 4 transistors, 1 electrolytic, 2 3 electrolytic. Okay, so I may have been mistaken. Maybe this one is, but yes, that's correct. Okay, that's the preamp board, because 302, 303, 301. So here we are. So 309, 305, 304, 301, 302, 303. So let me move it to the frame. Okay, so here we are. This is the preamp board, and it's correct. So that's the correct denomination. So next one we have tone board, and the freaking, oh, this is power supply. This is power supply. How could I mix it up? Of course, like look at this bridge rectifier here, like 4 beefy diodes and filtering capacitor, 470 microfarad and decent jazz. So yes, this is power supply. Here we are. 1 transistor here. This actually, what is this? This is another transistor. Actually, 2 transistors here. Huh? Oh, this is not transistor. Okay, I'm gonna touch it. This is not transistor. This is looks like a triac SCR. Why the heck SCR is here? All right. So there is a transistor and SCR. Okay, cool. Okay, so this is our power supply. It has 2 windings. The transformer. This transformer based, of course, power supply, and it has 1 winding and the secondary winding. I guess the secondary winding, I think, it's to power the light bulbs. The little, I'm not sure what's the voltage here, but clearly it has 2 different voltages for the power. So main power, probably the beefiest one, and obviously required the most regulation. And there is even triac SCR here. It's like just wow, what the heck that's supposed to mean? And another one just to power all these little light bulbs. And some of the light bulbs has actually separate circuit with a regular. So no, I'm mistaken. This is for MFM. So there is several different voltages. Okay. So probably they actually do regulation for the main power main power amplifier based on this SCR here. Yeah. All right. So what next? So then we have tone amp. And I assume the tone amp is over there. So this board is a tone amp because a volume regulator, balance regulator, bass and treble regulator, and also the switch. No, never mind. Bass and treble regulator are soldered to this board, and as you see over here, there's a whole bunch of potentiometers right there. So this is tone amp. Let's say it says tone amp, but it's like tone amp board. And the main board is this guy. So it has 2 big ass 50 volt, 1000 microfarad Unicorn capacitors. Not sure were those good or not, but you know, Japan made. It has 1, 2, 3. So 4 transistors in each channel. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So obviously it's symmetrical. Like okay. So then we have this weird diode thingy. It's like double diode. It's oh, what the heck is that and where is it? It's not here. It's funny. I see only transistors. I don't see this very interesting diode, kind of double diode thing. MV13 it says. Unless it's on the opposite side. Okay, so then we have, so each side is supposed to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 transistors. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 transistors are mounted, 2 big transistors, beefy, very beefy transistors are mounted on those radiators. So here we are, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, funny part is that over here it says that power transistor is supposed to be, I assume those are one stage and another stage over here, and this is output transistors. They're supposed to be 2SC180, but over here we have, I'll show you the photo, ED260. So completely different transistors are on the mounted on radiator. So I assume this is the newer version of the schematic, but still I couldn't find what the heck are those 2SC180s, unless I'm completely mistaken and this is not what I think it is. But those little transistors over here, they don't even have any text on them to identify. No, they actually do. They do. My mistake. My bad. CS1676, CS1676. What are these guys? CS1677. Okay, so those are 16s and 17s. So here two of them, and this guy is 76 as well, and this guy is completely different. This is probably this little guy, TR501, transist 502 and 501. Yeah, those are 2SC923. So two output transistors over here, they are completely different. So I assume they just replaced those transistors, and these transistors, there are some mentioning about them, those ED260, but have no idea what are they. But I don't know, doesn't really matter, because both channels of this guy are working properly, and you know, if they're gonna fail, they're gonna fail. I will try to address that situation when it's gonna happen. But right now, all two channels are operational, and you know, not much I can say about it. So that's actually worked quite well. So I'm not gonna touch those, but obviously for the future I would like to know what would be the good replacement of those package find similar package transistors. Maybe I can source some better transistors, but the problem is I don't know even specs of transistors which are here, those 2SC180, because I still cannot find anything about them. So guys, if you have any information about 2SC180 or any specs of a, how do you call it, ED260 from Hirel, I guess that's Hirel company. I'll show you the photo because I removed the backing. I showed you the photos of those particular transistors. So that's all she wrote, and obviously there are two indicators here. One of them for a, here we are, I'll show you a little bit, those two. One of them is for stereo tuning, sorry, FM tuning, another is for indicating the stereo of the FM. So FM tuning meter and strength meter, my bad, FM tuning and strength. Yeah, and if stereo is on, the color of those change to red. So that's just to indicate that the FM stereo is present. I think I'm done with all this. I'm gonna wrap it up. I think assemble it in its original shape, and we try to play some music. But before that, I want to also mention that I nicely cleaned up all these jars, so all those knobbies, except the little damage over here, all the faceplate is nicely cleaned up with alcohol, except what the heck is this? And yeah, it's looking much nicer. So I'm gonna assemble it, and we're gonna try some music. I'm not gonna try a fan because it's probably gonna trigger some kind of copyright protection, maybe some talk, not music. Yeah, I'm not going to, or not planning to do any like performance testing, because I don't have actually proper gear for that. Probably as we're gonna go as far as, you know, just running some speakers and hearing how it sounds, essentially. Alrighty, I'll be back after I assemble all this together. Okay guys, I assembled this little guy back in its original shape, and now when I learned it a little bit more because I found service manual, we can talk about the features here. So first of all, we have a power button. It just power up the whole thingy. I already mentioned about all these controls, it's pretty obvious. Speaker B, they call it remote speakers. The only thing which I did not got that if power this unit can deliver 25 watts per channel, hence the CR-250. When you have A or B, that's kind of obvious. But when you're gonna do A plus B, I'm just wondering what that's gonna happen. Like it's gonna, deliver for each channel 25 watt, or it's like combines and whatever. How it's gonna work, I do not know. There's something to figure out. So let's talk about outputs. So apparently the auxiliary outputs 1 and 2, they actually not just like willy-nilly, they quite important because you have phono, which is here, but aux 1 and 2, they also useful for phono because I think one of them supports ceramic cartridges, another one supports magnetic cartridges, sorry, not ceramic, piezoelectric cartridges. So yeah, this is quite important. So this little unit can support different cartridges for your record player. So then we go those switches. So apparently loudness on off gonna kick in when you have low volumes. It's gonna boost highs and lows, or just highs. I think highs. So essentially this is like a mega bass feature, and it works like that. It's like does mega bassy features. It's like your sound become boomy, and if you're on a medium loudness, it's became weird. But that's how it works. So low filter and high filter. Low filter is, unfortunately they don't specify what the frequencies are, but low filter is that cuts off very low frequencies, and high filter cuts off high frequencies. Unfortunately, for example, in this case it's a rumble, in this case it's a FM hiss. So unfortunately they not specify exactly what frequencies are, but judging by schematic, this is just simple LC filter, which technically we can calculate, but it takes some time. So for example, for high, I think it's 0.022 microfarad capacitor. So I'm not sure what exactly frequency is gonna chop off, but here we are. So, but I keep them off. Tape monitor. If there is a tape in and tape out. If you have something in tape in and you do on, this gonna essentially switch playback. Disregard where it's what's the input. This gonna play something from tape. If you do tape monitor on. Stereo, obviously it's gonna mono or stereo, and for purpose of this demonstration I'm gonna keep it mono because I just connected it to one speaker because they are beastly heavy speakers, and I just place it behind my back. FM muting on off, so keep it off. Essentially what it's gonna mean, it's gonna remove this annoying hiss when you are tuning FM station, for example. You see that? Here we are. That's what it's gonna do, which is quite useful to a certain degree. So if we are already there, let's try to listen to some FM stations. Is it FM? Yes. Okay, let's I want to find news, not music. Alright, as you see, I found for some reason mostly music, and I just do wanna play with the music thingy. I want to do some text, music again. But as you see, it works. Obviously a lot of music. So let's go to this guy. So for this demonstration, I have prepared some YouTube music, and I'm gonna try to play it. Wait, I don't remember which one to turn it on. Oh, here we are. Also, I have my oscilloscope to illustrate the music, because this guy doesn't have any VU meters or anything like that, just for your illustration. Because I have single speaker, I put it into mono mode, otherwise sound gonna sound funny, because yeah, it sounds actually quite good, and it can do quite loud. And I already feel those big I have woofers, 12-inch woofers in an old school speaker, and they already, like, I can feel it with my body. So this thing can drive some punch. 25 watt per channel. Those speakers I have, they are like some no-name 100 watt ish kind of speakers, and they already really rocking, really. So yeah, it's 25 watt and it still can drive big speakers. So I think we are restored this little thing in a good into good shape, and it's nice, not crackling, by the way. I already tried every single knob, there is no crackle, so that's really good. Balance, as you see, like I connected to the right speaker into mono mode, so left speaker is not. Obviously there are some scratches over here, I don't know how it's happened, but it's a bit scratched. That doesn't really matter, it's still good, looking really good. Unfortunately I cannot show you okay, maybe this is better. So now you can see the actual light. And let's show you something else. Back to our FM, and for example, I'm gonna shut it down, and now when I try to find stereo, let me find you a stereo station. There was something on 104, I think. Oh, here we are. There is something in stereo. You see, this turns red. That's stereo, and obviously some music. Yeah, here we are. So I think it's a successful restoration of this Concord FM stereo receiver CR-250. I'm pretty happy. It was not much really work. It's mostly like cleaning and making sure it doesn't crackle. It's not much really restoration. It was in actually quite decent shape, which despite I paid like several dollars for it, and it was sitting in my storage for like ages collecting dust. It still works, it read. So I'm pretty happy I was wise enough to buy this thing back at the time when no one really needed. Now these things are a bit more popular, and it's good to have some kind of receiver like that which has FM, AM, and it can also handle phono, which is quite important. Phono, and also even different sort of cartridges. So I would like to see that particular schematic, like what's the difference between a what actually makes it so that it actually supports different cartridges. Want to see the actual electronic behind it, but that's okay. I'm gonna do it off video just for myself. But I can post schematic is actually available on H5 engine for this particular unit, so anyone can actually analyze. I'm gonna post the link. So as I mentioned again, I'm gonna mention again, I'm pretty happy how it actually looks and works. And thank you guys for watching. I hope you like this sort of videos when we are looking into old school or vintage stereo equipment, because seems like it's a really forgotten tech which is getting really popular these days. Again, thank you for watching. See you next time on Inside That Electronic channel. Ciao.